Hello and welcome. My name's Colin Kimmins and I've been a quantity surveyor for over 25 years and I'm the director of the Construction Procurement Company. And what I want to do is a series of videos, this being the first, to assist subcontractors and main contractors in work winning and procurement on construction projects. And what I plan to do over the next 8 weeks is take you on a journey from first principles right the way through, from due diligence all the way to work winning at the end. And we'll just go into detail on practical tips and help in terms of how you can do that as a subcontractor. So first things first, let's start at the very beginning. You've been approached by a client or a contractor to carry out some work and to tender an opportunity. It may be someone you've worked with before, it might not be, but my advice would be every time somebody approaches you, I would do a due diligence check. Now, what does due diligence mean? It's basically just an investigation. It's a checking of a company or a person in that company, particularly directors, to satisfy yourself that they're reputable, that they've carried out this type of work before, and their attitude around finances. So we're going to move on. And the first thing I would always look at is their public profile. So checking the website. And what I'm going to do is take you through step by step the quick checks that I would do in terms of due diligence and investigation. And then that's the start of a chain of events that we'll follow through. So for this example, let's just assume TMJ contractors have come to us asking us to price work for them. And what I would do, first check, is go right down to the bottom of the website. Firstly, check that they've got a website, and I would check that the company is who it says it is in terms of company's house. So TMJ Contractors Limited, registered in England and Wales. And there's the company registration number just there. So the 0549 number. And that's the first number I'll write down. So then I'll probably just have a look at what sectors that they work in. And it says on the left-hand side there, commercial, healthcare, heritage and retail. And just make sure that that aligns with what the type of project is that they're asking you to price and they've got previous experience of it. You can also see below the value of projects that they've got, so ranging from 100,000 down to 1 million. So you've done your initial check on the company registration number and the company. You've had a look at what sectors and what value of work that they carry out and previous experience. Now I would take a quick look at the directors and see their level of experience, and I would make note of obviously the managing director's name, and that'll become apparent in a minute when we move on to the next step. So the next step I would take is always to look at company's house next. And the company registration number that you wrote down before and the director's name will come in really handy at this point. So we just jump in to the website. This is in the public domain, so it's open to anyone, this information. And then at the very top, you'll find company information. Now, if you click on that button, it'll take you to another page and you click start now at the bottom. And then you come to this bar and it'll say enter company name, number or officer name. And you just put in there TMJ Contractors Limited. Now be careful at this point because there might be a number of companies with a very similar name, and the important thing is you wrote down the company registration number before and it's 0549 3485 and that matches, and the address and the contractor's name matches. So now we can take a look in here and this will bring up details on the company's accounts and when they submitted them, the people in charge, and we just do a quick check to make sure that all matches and lines through. The first thing I always go to is the filing history and just make sure that this is up to date. And the total exemption full accounts were issued on the 17th of July 2025 and they're up to date because there's no messages telling me otherwise. And I click on this, click on the PDF. What I'll do here is just take a note of the company details and information. So you've got Mr. Detailer, which matches off the website, and Mr. James Carroll as well, they match, so that's good. The registered address matches, the company number matches, the accounts, but it'll give you assets and tangible assets, and it'll give you basic information accounting. Now this won't give you the turnover. You might have to do some digging or ask them direct what their annual turnover is. You might even want to look back for a few years and look at that, but we'll come to that in a bit on the next and another step. That all looks good. I'm now back at this screen And I'm going to have a quick look at people and just check. And what I do when I check this is I just run through and find the name. So James Andrew Carroll, that matches, and it's active. The company's active and he's an active director. Daniel Jordan Taylor, and that matches, and the address matches, and he's active as well, and he's verified, which is good and positive. Then go and have a quick look, and just a quick look here of any other associations. So you want to see if there's any group structure to the company and whether he's got any other companies in existence, and that'll come in handy if we look a little bit into further detail going forward. Okay, so he's got a number of companies there, some dissolved, some not. There's nothing of any concern there. So now you'll have done your initial due diligence checks and you'll have got a good feel as to whether the right type of company that you want to tender for. And now we go on to the next step. And this only takes a few minutes, but it's really worth doing, and it'll show the culture and behaviour of the company. What I always do is check the Health and Safety Executive website just to see if they've got any prohibition notices or any notices. It tells you a massive amount about the behaviour and the culture in the company, and whether they cut corners, whether they price jobs tight and then cut corners on health and safety, or don't provide access, or don't provide edge protection. It's a really important point to make, and it's really important to check this. I'll just take you through a quick step-by-step of where to find that information. So what I do is just put in HSE notices into Google, and this comes up top of the list, and just click in there. Then right in the middle of the screen, on the first page that opens up, is a search for all notices, improvement notices or prohibition notices. I always just leave all notices in and click on search on that. Now once you've done that, this page comes up, and I always go to advanced search. It just makes sure that it captures all, going back, only allowed to go back a few years. Click on advanced search and click continue. Once you've done that, you can click in and click recipient's name. Now once you've clicked on recipient's name, it'll come up on the advanced search, and you can put in TMJ Contractors Limited. And that should bring you a search up of all enforcement notices on the company. And as you can see, no notices found, so that's great news. So now you've done the health and safety check and it's all come up clear, and that's good. What I would typically do next is do some more investigation just in terms of social media, have a look on LinkedIn, have a look at search the company director's name, and just see if any negative press or any negative information comes up about them. Once you've done that, I would just do a check of all suppliers. So you supply with different companies all across the UK in terms of material suppliers or plant hire companies, and just have a quick ring round some people that you know well to find out if they're in any financial distress. Have they paid any invoices late? Are they trying to extend credit terms on them? And just see what comes back. And then just ask about other trade professionals that you know or you're involved with. Have they heard anything about the company? Once that's all done, that to me, if it comes back all clear, go to the next stage. Now in part 2 of this video, we're going to go into the details of whether to bid or not bid. And that'll be based more on the information that is provided in terms of the tender pack and the tender information that comes across. But for now, we've done the initial due diligence, we've got a check, and we're comfortable with the company that we're going to price the works for. So at the Construction Procurement Company, I have a checklist that does what we've just been through in this whole video. Now, if you'd like a copy of it, just drop a message and I'll send you a link to it. And you can use that each and every time. And I would suggest each and every time you work with, even with the same client, I would keep the regular check up to date all the time. So that's it from me for part 1. If you liked it, please be sure to check out part 2 on YouTube.